Hello. In Hindu religion, there are specific rituals performed during our lifetime and also after the death, even before the birth. And we are having this series of various samskaras or the rituals in Hindu religion. Today's video is interesting because we are going to speak about the samskaras after death. Nowadays, we generally go to a pandit and suggest him to do the minimal possible samskaras, and one of the reason is we don't see any relevance or importance of those samskaras in our life. The death rituals are one of the longest rituals. They start immediately after the person leaves the body, the jiva leaves the body, and they continue till the 12th day, even on the 13th day. So the question is, does it make any sense to do these samskaras? How will it benefit the jiva who has left the body? Why do we need to really perform those? How will it help us in a way? Does it make sense to do all of that? What is the meaning of those samskaras? And so on and so forth. Today we are going to discuss about one of the important rituals which is conducted on the 10th day and its relevance as far as the jiva is concerned. This samskara is called Dasha Gatra Vidhi. In Astrology of Reincarnation, in my book Astrology of Reincarnation, I have explained the impact of things that happen just before the death of the person and its association with its next birth, the jiva's next birth. Dr. Ian Stevenson, who did lot of research on reincarnation across the globe, he worked on it for almost 40 years, had an interesting observation that the memories of Hindus about previous birth are not very clear. Probably all these samskaras are helping the jiva not to remember a lot about the previous birth. And one of that is Dashagatra Vidhi. The impact of the events or the impact of the shock that the body takes or the jiva takes just before or at the time of birth, like I said, has a strong impact on the next birth. It is in two forms. One is the birthmark, which is a lesser impact, and the second one is the birth defect, which is the bigger impact. So this Dashagatra Vidhi are actually sequence of Shraddhas which are performed on each part of the body. So for example, a person dies due to an accident and an organ, let's say a leg is broken just before death. If the jiva considers that as a strong impact on it, then that impact is carried over to the next birth, and that might be the cause of the defect in the leg of the jiva in the next birth. This Dashagatra Vidhi actually is to reduce or eliminate this impact, because in Dashagatra Vidhi a Shraddha for 10 various or multiple parts of the body is conducted. So one Shraddha is performed for the forehead, the skull and the head. The second Shraddha is performed for the eyes, the ears and the nose. The third Shraddha is performed for the neck, the shoulders and the chest. The fourth Shraddha is performed for the uh, reproductive organs and the excretory organs. The fifth Shraddha is performed for the legs, the knees and so on. The sixth Shraddha is performed for all the marmas. The marmas are the points, the weak points in the body. If they are hit strongly, then the person may die immediately. These are also the parts which actually help the person to get energized. So marmas. So the Shraddha is performed to reduce the impact on the marmas, because it's possible that the native died due to an impact on one of the marmas, and that's why a Shraddha is performed for all the marmas. The seventh Shraddha is performed for all the nerve veins, the nerves in the body. Along with that, it also covers the bones and the nervous system. So, one Shraddha is performed for the veins, the nerves, the nervous system, and the bones. The eighth Shraddha is performed for the teeth, the nails, the hair, and then the uh, pores from which the hair come out. So that is the 8th Shraddha. The 9th Shraddha is performed for the semen, the reproductive organs, or specifically the semen. And then the 10th Shraddha is performed for the elimination of impact of hunger, thirst. So there are times where a person dies because he doesn't get enough food, or sometimes he needs water. You would see many people just before dying they ask for water. Sometimes they get it, but sometimes they don't get it, and that is an impact on the jiva if he doesn't get, if he is hungry or she is hungry, or the jiva doesn't actually get water at the time of death. So the Shraddha is also performed to eliminate the impact of hunger and thirst. And all these Shraddhas are performed so that the impact is reduced and eliminated, so that the next birth is without any defect, without any impact or influence of the previous birth, and the jiva can live a better life in the next birth. And that's really important for all of us to start our life, because most of the times the impact of the previous birth is extremely strong during childhood, and it gets reduced over the period of time. So it's extremely important for of us to have a healthy and happy childhood. And these Shraddhas, the Dasha Gatra Vidhi is performed to ensure that we don't carry the impact, we don't recollect, we don't remember, we don't have any birth defect, we don't have any birthmark as such due to an influence of the previous birth. And our childhood, the childhood of the jiva, means our childhood is much more happier and joyful. So out of, I'm going to explain you various procedures, rituals that are conducted from 10th day till 12th day, the important ones. I'm not going to go into the details of all of those, but the important ones. And this Dashagatra Vidhi is one of those important procedures or rituals to reduce the impact of things that happened either in this life or just before the person dies. Anyways, either this way or that way. And since, because some people are bedridden for a long period of time, and when they are bedridden for a long period of time, they have some other impact, like they feel like I am weak, or my body is weak, this particular organ isn't functioning, and so on and so forth. So even the impact of that feeling needs to be eliminated from jiva. So this Dashagatra Vidhi helps the jiva in many different ways, and this is conducted on the 10th day. So this is a very important ritual that is performed to ensure that the jiva has much better, joyful, and without any life, without any defect. And that's why this is an important ritual. I strongly suggest you all not to eliminate all these death rituals, so that all these people are born in our family. There are forefathers, and that's why it's important that they have better next life, they have calm next life, they have peaceful next life, because we all were related in this birth. So there is a very high possibility that we all are also related in the next birth, and it's our responsibility to ensure that our ancestors, our forefathers, all of them get a better and a healthy, joyful next birth. And that's why some of these rituals are extremely important. They are speciality, they are unique to the Sanatan Dharma. And if we conduct those, they are going to help the people who pass away, who leave this world. They leave the body and then they are reborn much better, or the way they were in this particular life. In case they have any defect in this life, then even the impact of that shall also be eliminated, and these shraddhas would also help to eliminate the impact of the birth defect of this life. And even from that point of view, they are really important. I encourage you all to think about this and make sure that we perform all the rituals as they are mentioned, documented in the Shastras, so that we get the best out of the rituals or the samskaras that are mentioned in Sanatan Dharma. Thank you.